Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Connor, this is Luke.
Hello.
Welcome to The Scoop on Thursday the 7th of November. Christ, it's getting close to Christmas.
It is. Don't say that word. Don't say the C word on the stream, please,
The big
mate.
C word. Oh, Twitch TOC. This has been banned.
Straight away, in the first, 10 seconds, already been banned for saying the C word.
It's incredible. But yeah, today, obviously, Bibby and Graham can't be hosting, but the show goes on with two arguably way better hosts as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think everyone would agree to that.
We're a proven article after doing it that one time before.
Yeah, that one time really set us in stone as the show's mainstay hosts, I think.
Absolutely.
So there's been a hostile takeover, much like the anarchists.
Yeah, exactly.
Halloween. we have just taken over. Bibby and Graham are no more until probably tomorrow.
Yeah. So I mean, tomorrow is sometime distant time in the future, so we might as well just say forever.
Exactly. So I want to see how everyone's doing in the chat. If anyone's here, say hello.
Absolutely.
Of course, we are live on twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. If you're listening to this later on, you're definitely not watching us live because we're probably asleep at our desks. But you can be listening to us on podcast services such as
Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and the other one. Which the other one? Oh, iTunes.
Just the biggest podcast service in the world, probably. But yeah, you can listen to us on all the podcast services and also watch back this not live video.
Yeah,
you can watch us in video form again on YouTube.
You can pretend it's live if you want. I mean,
yeah, you can type in the chat. We're not going to respond to that, but just pretend we're ignoring you. It might, that might be fun for you.
Yeah,
you never know.
Your thing.
So, what story do you think you want to start with today?
Well, being a Nintendo fan, Connor, I thought
what?
Yeah, exactly. I'm very much into Nintendo. Yeah, for a change, I don't have a Nintendo.
I did actually look at your shirt and I was like, oh no, he's not wearing one.
Yeah, I've got like a Squirtle one. I've got these two Zelda ones and a Mario one. But anyway, I'm gonna bring up the first story now. If you could do the honours on your laptop, it's the Fatal Fury. Fatal Fury's Terry Bogard joins Smash Bros. Ultimate today. When I say today, this is an article from yesterday, so it was actually yesterday. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate welcomes SNK legend Terry Bogard as its next DLC character today. The legendary Wolf is part of the game's Ultimate Fighters Pass, or separately is part of Challenger Pack 4. Included with the character is a new King of Fighters Stadium stage, which features cameos from many SNK characters and a whopping 50 music tracks from various SNK games. 50 music
that is a whopping amount of
that is. If you like your music from,
wow.
If you like your music from Fatal Fury or King of Fighters or whatever, then yeah, get this just for that.
Absolutely whopping.
And then it just literally says something really useful for podcasts. Here's an extended video from Smash Brothers. Masahiro Sakura, who's the dude who does all the Smash Brothers stuff. This is a short and sweet article, but obviously it was just to get across the message that basically Super Smash Brothers obviously has been introducing characters down the line about every 1 or 2 months or so, and the latest one is Fatal Fury's Terry Bogard, who is from. Have you ever played Fatal Fury? Have you ever heard of it, for that matter, or if you yourself?
Absolutely no.
Right. Okay.
This is a very much a Luke Burns story.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's fine.
I'm very impressed by the whopping 50 music tracks. Like that could get me interested.
Precisely. Yeah. I watched that Nintendo Direct, so obviously they did the video yesterday, like the stream yesterday, showing the character off. They do that for each one. Basically, they show the character and then they immediately say, and it's available to download now, which for the first time was a surprise, but like every other time was expected. So I've not had a chance to play it yet. But yeah, he was saying 50 tracks, we think we're giving this away too cheaply because it's such a good value. By the way, the Fighter Pass, I think it costs for the 5 characters, 4 which have been a lot now, I think it cost me something like close to $20, so I feel like that's quite expensive actually.
So just giving that away then.
Yeah.
Just $20 per person who wants to buy it. Christ.
Exactly. by the way, on this article, I just realised there was a little bit extra that I could have read as well. There's like a massive advert that looks like at the bottom, so I thought it was the end of the article. But just to sort of add as well, the latest batch of Mii Fighter costumes is also now available. These include Nakaruru, Samurai Showdown, I'm going to not pronounce any of these correctly, Ryu Sakazaki, Art of Fighting, Iro Yagami, King of Fighters, plus Akira and Jackie from Virtual Fighter. And it just I was trying to find another bit here that I thought existed but doesn't. Basically, they had like on the stage, basically they released a stage in these DLCs as well per character. So this one was like a King of Fighters stage, and there's like all the characters from the games are in the background bar one, and it's a character called May, I think, or Mai or something like that. I'm not too familiar, but one of the stories I read about was that she wasn't in this, it isn't in the background of the stage because she's, shall we say, a little over-sexualized for Nintendo.
Oh, right.
So they made a comment of that. The guy said something like, Super Smash Brothers is for good boys and girls of all ages, so we decided not to include this character.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so like you've got a certain type of fan, shall we say, who's kicking off on Twitter about that, saying,
we want anime boobies.
Exactly.
That type of fan.
Exactly. Yeah. But I understand. Obviously, Nintendo, they've got to draw the line somewhere. But yeah, it seems like you get a lot for your money anyway out of this DLC.
Well,
pack.
they are, but like you said, they're giving it away there.
Exactly,
$20,
giving it away just for the music tracks alone.
Wow.
But let us know if you've played Terry, or whatever he's called, Terry Bogard. It just sounds such like a underwhelming name, doesn't it? It's just Terry.
It's like. Just reminds me of the chocolate orange, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me just being fat. Probably is. But I think Terry, I think chocolate orange. What can I say?
I mean, yeah. I'm sure you're not the only one. I'm really hungry for some Terry's chocolate orange now. Ice cream is not sponsored by Terry's chocolate orange in any way, but if you would like to get in touch, Terry's chocolate orange, feel free.
Terry, just message us.
Yeah, Terry.
DM me Tez. Big Tez.
Yeah, I've lost track of that. But anyway, if you've played him, let us know how you think he is in the game.
Good old Terry. So what's next? What am I running with? What
are you running with? Yeah. Let's have a look.
I've not read it because I was very busy this morning, as the podcast listeners may not know.
You occasionally, I've seen you once or twice do work before.
Yeah, it's wild actually. It even throws me off.
Yeah.
When I'm busy.
Yeah.
So I think I was going to talk about the 4K gaming.
Ah, right.
If that's okay with you.
Yes, you go for it. You jump in.
I'll jump into that. So I'll just full screen that and bring it up for our live viewers.
Exciting.
So this is a GameSpot article by Jordan Ramée.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yeah, Jordan. 4K gaming is useless. Well, there's a headline. Says former Limbo and Inside dev. It's something that's being pushed by tech vendors to push the next console. So, Dino Patti thinks that 4K gaming is of little consequence to developers and is just yet another PC and console upgrade being advertised to help sell hardware. Patti is the co-founder and former CEO of Playdead, the developer behind Limbo and Inside, who left the studio in 2016 and went on to start new companies. I think 4K gaming is useless, Patti said according to VG 24/7. It's something that's being pushed by... we've just read that. Both Microsoft and Sony's next-gen consoles, Project Scorpio and PS5, respectively, will support 4K and have a max output resolution of 8K. So, manufacturers don't respect the natural evolution of games and you force technology, he added. Microsoft with Kinect, they paid studios to make a lot of shitty games. I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
That's probably right.
After leaving Playdead, Patti went on to be the co-founder for both Coherent and Jumpship. Coherent is working to create a cloud-based open-source development platform. Jumpship is in the midst of developing its first game, Somerville, which tells a science fiction story about the lives of people who survive a global catastrophe. In terms of both tone and graphic, it looks a lot like Limbo and Inside. games that don't necessarily require 4K graphics to convey their unsettlingly eerie atmosphere. I want to select a path myself and not be drawn in by money from tech vendors, Patty said. There's a lot of people that see something shiny and follow that. You can definitely see all the herd walking one way and falling. Back at Playdead, the studio is currently in the midst of developing its third game, which is still unannounced. Playdead has been teasing the project since January 27... Christ. January 2017. That's not a tease anymore.
No,
You're just making it up. When the studio tweeted an image from the new game. Since then, Playdead has included additional images and concept art in tweets and job postings for the new game. The latter which have also been implied that this third title will take place in a 3D space as opposed to the 2D side-scroll format seen in Limbo and Inside.
Okay.
So,
do you think...
Yeah,
I mean, my first question is, do you think 4K is useless, Connor?
Oh, that's a big question for 10:34 on a Thursday morning. Now, useless, no. I wouldn't say useless.
Yeah.
Mainly because you've got a 4K monitor, I believe. And I don't want to be mean.
Well, no. Actually, I've got a 144 hertz.
Right.
It's not 4K. Actually.
Right. Okay. I'll let you off then.
Yeah.
Yes. No. It's useless. No, I don't think it's useless. It's just like a natural progression in graphics. Like that's like saying, do you think HD is useless or like? Like no, obviously it's not. Like it makes it look better, but whether it's being implemented, like no, I think I was talking to you about it literally like yesterday or the day before. I was saying like no one's even fully upgraded to 4K yet.
No, exactly.
Like, and then these games are bringing out 8K, like the new consoles. Yeah. It's like I've not even got a 4K monitor yet. I've got a 4K TV downstairs, but I don't really play games on my TV downstairs. I play at monitors and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like they should have just got everyone to 4K first.
No, I agree. Yeah. I think, as well, I can kind of see, obviously, a big jump. When you got HD, say, you could see a big jump between, say, DVD quality, even in, like, 1080 or something like that. 4K, you can see it still to a lesser extent. 8K, like if someone asks me, do I think 8K is useless, I'd be much more inclined to say yes by that point.
Yeah.
Because
how far do you go before it's minuscule difference?
Yeah, it's only as good as the human eye, right? I mean, you'll get to a point where there are sort of more pixels than the human eye can possibly like differentiate, and my eyes especially are sort of shit. That's why I wear glasses. So it probably would be completely useless for me. But so 4K. Yeah, I do notice a difference, and I think it's nice and maybe suited for certain things like consoles that, obviously PS4 Pro they're built with it in mind, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to get at is a lot of computers aren't like quite powerful enough yet to deal with it, but if you've got like a console that's dedicated to it and built around it completely. And you've got your 4K TV or whatever, which is naturally bigger as well than a mono, which I think helps add value. Then maybe from that angle, it has value. But I'm not rushing to get like a 4K computer monitor or anything like that.
No, I was the same as you. I went for the bigger hertz, so the bigger frames. Like I'd rather have more frames per second. Yeah. Because I think that adds more value for what my computer can run anyway. Yeah. I'd be running it at 4K and like 40 frames a second. It'd just look crap anyway. Yeah.
So I'd much rather any day run a game in like a nice amount of frames in 1080, which is still absolutely fine, than 4K slower. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. Like, I've never even seen an 8K telly for sale. Like, do you know, like 4K? No. You sort of see 4K everywhere now. Like, Christmas coming up, like Black Friday, there'll be like loads of Argos will be selling some 4K TVs or something. Yeah, exactly. I've still yet to see an 8K one. Like,
I don't think I have.
I mean, I presume there is somewhere. I presume it exists, and they've not just called it 8K. Yeah. What can we do to upgrade to 4K? Let's change it to an 8.
And then charge people like a 5-figure sum for it, which like they probably are at the moment to an extent. I don't know how expensive they will be, but
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna Google it quickly.
Genuinely interesting, won't it? But and then obviously you've got.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
How much?
Well, the cheapest one I can see here is like £2,000 just on the
just on like the Amazon thing. But then I'm pretty sure I saw one as well that was like,
there's one here for $8,000. Oh my lord!
Scroll down a bit. Was there the one that's the 13? Sorry, it's like 13 grand. That I realised that our viewers can't.
£14,000 for an 85-inch 8K telly.
Wow.
So I mean, I safe to say I won't be making the switch to 8K anytime soon.
Yeah.
The cheapest one on Currys is £3,500. So if anyone's got an 8K TV, I would love to come and test it out to see why it's worth £3,700 at a minimum.
Exactly, yeah. Let us know, all you 8K TV owners out there, all of you.
And also let me know what you do for a job, because I want to switch to it.
Exactly.
Because you've clearly got a lot of money.
Wow. I mean, I suppose if you are going to go for 8K, then you want to also get like an 85-inch TV to make it really worth it, you know.
See, I'm the opposite. I would rather go small.
Do you reckon? Like, but I feel like, isn't it like the way resolution works that, you know, you kind of need to have a bigger screen to really notice the difference? Because like if you're going to have like a smaller screen anyway at 8K, I don't feel like you're going to notice anything.
Well, you do. It's more about the amount of pixels on the screen.
Sure.
So like the pixels just get smaller, but it makes a better image.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I know what you mean. Like playing like a game like The Last of Us or like God of War will look unbelievable on a big TV.
Yeah.
You get like the full immersion of it, but it's just like I can't play on big TVs these days. Like,
no, I know what you mean. You just have to sit so far away from it. Or whatever.
It's like ever since I like played COD like competitively, like it's 22 or 24-inch monitor.
Yeah.
Perfect size. So when you game at home, do you play on a big TV or?
Well, I mean, I've got like, bear in mind my living room is fairly small. I've got like a 40-inch sort of TV, 4K. But I rarely use I don't use the 4K in any gaming sense because I only have a regular PS4. I have like the 4K Netflix thing, and I have to admit, like I don't notice that much difference.
No,
really, not that much.
When I first did it. And I first got my 4K TV in my living room, and it's quite a big TV, and I was like, right, let's get on the 4K Netflix. I think it was like Punisher or something. So I was like, first I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I can't believe I've been watching normal TV like an idiot. Oh, what a peasant. Watching regular HD. And then now it's just like, oh yeah, it's normal. It's in 4K. Cool.
Yeah, maybe that's to an extent as well just what's happened with me. Like, I've just got used to it. But for me, I don't know whether it's like my TV is a little bit shit in general or something, but I feel like it makes the motion blur weird. Like when people are moving or whatever, and like the cameras or pans or whatever. Like when it's a still image, I can like really see the sharpness, but when it's like moving around and stuff, I feel like it looks weird. I can't explain it. But
that sounds like you need to sort some settings out.
Yeah, probably. I have been doing though a bit, but I have improved it, but it's still not perfect.
I realised like literally about 6 months into having my TV that I had some setting on that like capped the quality or something, or capped the sort of resolution. Like, I can't remember what it was. And I was like, I switched. I think I was watching football. I was like, this looks like really bad for like HD. I was like, it doesn't look that good. I never really paid attention to it too much. But I was like, no, I've had enough of it now. And I went into settings, and I was like, there was a setting on. I literally just pressed a button, and I was like, oh my god, what the hell? How long has that been on for?
Wow, I can't believe they just cap like the quality.
It was like, I can't remember what it was that was capped or like turned off, or it was. But it made it a million times better. But now I get paranoid, and like every couple of weeks I check it,
make sure
just to make sure it's not just switched on.
Some
by
update
itself.
hasn't just switched it back to normal.
Yeah, I was fuming.
Yeah, it's funny though when you have to like manually check just to make sure it's right, isn't it? It just kind of show the psychology of it to an extent.
Yeah.
Like you know, you could just as easily like if you have to check, like you don't really notice well enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're not sure that, I wonder if it's 4K or not. Like if it was amazing.
Yeah.
If it was like unbelievable, you'd be like, it's clearly 4K. Yeah.
Because like sometimes I do that with frame rates on my, on my computer, and obviously you can tell, but sometimes with some games it sort of seems to lock at 60 rather than go all the way up to 140 or whatever. And I have to admit, I'm like playing a game and sort of thinking, is this 60 or is this like higher? And,
I think as long as you get at least 60.
Yeah, to be fair, that's usually alright, isn't it?
Yeah. I think there's something stupid about that like the human eye can only see up to a certain refresh rate as well or something. but
yeah, that's probably it's probably true. I mean, I wonder what the human eye refresh rate is. Or maybe it probably depends on the processor, i.e. the brain.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think mine's very good.
I've got an i3.
Yeah.
Right, should we move on to another story?
Yeah, I guess it's my turn now, right? So let's bring up my list again. I will go on to that Banjo-Kazooie one.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Or not Banjo-Kazooie as the story is. So Yooka-Laylee devs, I have to admit I've never played that or anything, but deny rumours they're working on a new Banjo-Kazooie game. Sorry, Banjo-Kazooie fans. And by the way, this is from Matt Kim on IGN. So, Yooka-Laylee developers Playtonic Games issued a statement today that flat out denied that the company was acquired by Microsoft or that it's working on a new Banjo-Kazooie game. The statement was issued following a day of online rumours suggesting such. And then this is them saying, "Hey everyone, we wanted to address the speculation currently swarming our mentions. We hate to be the bearer of news that isn't what you want to hear, but we thought it best to come out and say we aren't working on a new Banjo-Kazooie game and we remain an independent studio," Playtonic wrote on Twitter. "While we would love to work with the Bear and Bird again, that ball isn't in our court. With that said, we are keen to continue progressing as a studio, carrying the experience of games we worked on, old and new, to create new characters and adventures for you to hopefully love." The statement was issued on Playtonic's Twitter account after rumours began to surface. Yeah, I think I was right the first time. Artemis is there. To surface that the company was purchased by Microsoft. The Banjo-Kazooie name was then thrown into the mix since most of Playtonic's staff is comprised of ex-Rare developers, including the recently hired Ed Bryan. It was Bryan who kicked off the rumours in the first place after he published a photo of a bag with the Microsoft logo on it. Playtonic was also recently registered under a different name. Although long-time Banjo fans are still holding out hope for a new Banjo-Kazooie game, Playtonic has found critical success with its throwback 3D platformer, Yooka-Laylee. Banjo is also available as a playable fighter in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, throwback to an early story. So I don't know if you've ever played kind of Yooka-Laylee. I've not, actually.
I've not.
No, it sounds very much like... so the company obviously made Banjo-Kazooie originally, and it sounds like the thought process was, okay, we don't have access to this IP anymore, let's make something that's kind of identical to characters, but this time instead of calling them Banjo-Kazooie, we'll call them, Yooka and Laylee, and it will still be like a colourful platforming based sort of game. So yeah, it's just kind of weird that a studio well, the rumours were that the studio was bought by Microsoft, and they've actually had to come out and say, no, actually, Microsoft hasn't bought us, we are still independent, we still don't have this thing that you all want.
Unfortunately, we didn't all just get mega rich.
Exactly.
Thanks for reminding us, though. I feel really good about it now. Yeah,
I know.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to my 14-hour shift.
Exactly.
To make minimum wage.
Yeah, just to sort of plug away this...
Not at Microsoft.
Yeah, to plug away at this game that, me and you haven't heard of. Yeah. Let us know if you have played Yooka-Laylee, and if it's any good, maybe I should check it out. Have you ever played Banjo-Kazooie, for that matter? Have you ever heard much about it? Because this
I feel
is,
like I probably have.
This is more of my,
Oh yeah.
You're younger than me, and
well, you can say that again.
I'm an old bastard, and basically that was more my generation. It was sort of like a Nintendo 64 phenomena, where the company Rare, who was bought by Microsoft, I don't know how these guys fit into that, by the way. I guess they're the studio, and Rare are the sort of publisher or whatever. But anyway, so they made a game called Banjo-Kazooie, and it was a bit like Super Mario 64 in the sense it was like a 3D platformer game, but it was just like really well received, and it's got a cult following now. Obviously the characters have since made it into Smash Brothers, and people have got hyped, and maybe hype. And I guess maybe, like, how these things tend to come in waves to an extent. I suppose with it with the characters appearing in Super Smash Bros., people might be expecting some other news to appear shortly afterwards about it. These things tend to sort of come up together. Because at the end of the day, like just before going back on Super Smash Bros., there's quite a lot of other characters who not a lot of people have necessarily heard of, who then appeared in Smash Bros., then got their own sort of like a new game come out, or whatever. Like,
as part of an overall like marketing.
Like there's a character. Admittedly, this was within the Nintendo sphere still, but a character called Pit, who I don't know whether you know, but he's like sort of like an angel character, like Greek sort of mythology style. It's like a Icarus sort of,
can't say I'm familiar.
No. Anyway, like it was a really old, like I'm talking like a NES game, and maybe there was a SNES one as well, I'm not sure, but it's like a platform. Anyway, as soon as he appeared in Smash Brothers in a new 3D form, they released his own dedicated game as well.
Classic, of course he did.
Yeah, which is, I always find it interesting how Super Smash Brothers sort of fits into all these other games. But anyway, so I guess we're still holding out on that Banjo-Kazooie game, though. Maybe that's in there. In the works. Maybe it's Microsoft
maybe even like this sort of false rumor could be enough to like sort of kickstart something, because they're like, oh well, it's free sort of market research essentially.
Exactly.
It's like it wasn't true. You're not working on it. Nothing's been leaked, but you've seen how people how hyped people are already without having to do anything.
Yeah, maybe that sometimes is how it works as well. Like with the Super Smash Things element that I was mentioning, like maybe it wasn't part of a marketing strategy. Sometimes these things are more like measuring the hype, and reactive to it. Although obviously it takes a while to make a game, so I can't imagine it will come out anytime soon in that case. But I guess that's pretty much it on that one. Let us know if you would be interested in playing a Banjo-Kazooie game in the future.
I'm going to jump straight into the next story. Just jumping into it.
Yeah, just jump straight.
So the next one is about Hitman. This is an article on PC Gamer by Shaun Prescott. The next Hitman game is well underway, which is interesting. Yeah. It's very nice. So IO Interactive is moving its Hitman 2 team over to what is probably Hitman 3. Probably.
We assume.
Yeah. So Hitman 2 has been subject to countless updates since its release last November, but it looks like IO Interactive is moving most of its resources onto the next major installment in the series. In a new November roadmap published today, the company said that it's looking increasingly to the future, which means that in real terms, we're moving more and more of the Hitman 2 team to join the next Hitman game, which is well underway. This is good news for Hitman fans, who might have feared that IO Interactive's forthcoming non-Hitman game, which will be published by Warner Bros., could signal a long break in Agent 47's bloody career. While the Warner Bros. Published game hasn't been thoroughly detailed, it did come with the sentiment that the studio wants to explore new universes and new franchises. Hitman is neither. While Hitman 2 won't get new missions, there's still a wealth of featured contracts coming, as well as the additions of community-curated contracts, some seasonal content. The announcement doesn't specify which will be added to the game permanently, and there's a new escalation and an elusive contract coming in December. So it goes on to say, so the game is still living, in other words, but probably to a lesser extent than we've seen throughout 2019. For the full IO Interactive statement, as well as a roundup on November content, it's worth reading the roadmap for yourself. And if you're listening to that on podcast services, that will be in the show notes in the description of wherever you're watching it.
Yeah.
Or check YouTube /Ice Cream Uploads. It'll definitely be in the description there. So all the articles from today you can read there.
Definitely.
And see two beautiful hosts as well, of course.
Absolutely very important.
So, in case it wasn't very obvious, Hitman 2 is a very good game, essentially more of its predecessor, but with a more consistent quality of levels. Phil Savage wrote in his Hitman 2 review, adding that this is a very good thing. So yeah, I mean, Shaun Prescott's clearly excited about it. He's looking forward to it.
I can sort of offer some insight into Hitman because I'm a fan. I don't know if have you played any Hitman? Any of these new Hitman games or anything?
I've played it. I've played Hitman before, but I don't own it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think I played Hitman 1 when it was like free on Game Pass or something.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're quite good. Like, I quite enjoy them. I'm not a big single player guy though.
Sure. More.
So I struggle to really
more into
dump hours into it.
Multiplayer sort of competitive scene.
Yeah, I need something to have a little edge of competition for me to get really excited about it.
Yeah.
Like FIFA, it's that 1v1 sort of competition. Playing Overwatch, it's like that team, but it's there's a winner and there's a loser.
Sure. I feel like you represent the modern gamer, Connor, whereas I represent the older gamer.
Well, that would make sense.
I like my one-player sort of experiences, but I'm a big fan of Hitman. These new Hitmans, anyway. The reboot. So I am psyched for Hitman 3. But we mentioned in a previous show, where I think it was me and Graham, on a previous show of The Scoop, that is, about the thing that this article mentions as well, where they were talking about how Warner Brothers mentioned they were making another game that was not sort of, it was in a new universe or something. And in that show, we were sort of like, could that still be Hitman, or is it sort of like Hitman in a new universe?
Hitman in space.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think about as well when I think of universe. But it turns out that this is looking less and less like the case. It sounds like two separate things. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that new Warner Brothers IP. But as for this one, I've admittedly it talks as well about Hitman 2, obviously, and keeping up with content, or slowly starting to drop that down now. But that is one of the good things about these new Hitman games. They keep delivering new sort of like contracts and stuff like that, so new missions essentially. And admittedly, I've not jumped into Hitman 2 for a little while, so I'm probably missing out on all those sort of all those extra missions. But I totally recommend anyone who wants to give Hitman a try to jump in, especially like the first one now. The first of these reboots is probably going quite cheap, and it like the difference between that one and Hitman 2 is negligible really. They're both just pretty much the same game, just more of the same.
Hashtag not an ad.
Exactly. Yeah, but hey, what can I say? I'm a fan, so I would check it out. I'd imagine it is going quite cheap.
Yeah, I feel like it might be available on Game Pass as well.
Maybe. So definitely jump into it. But I think it's just one of those where when it hit the first Hitman, the first one of these reboots came out, they did this sort of episodic approach, and it was seen as a bit weird for what is more or less a AAA kind of game. Certainly, a well-established sort of game franchise to do that, and people were cynical of it. But it works really well because it's sort of, take the first one, for example, there's 6 different maps. And they released one map at a time, over a period of a month or two, but encouraged you to sort of like keep playing the same map and learn all the different ways to kill people and stuff like that. It's kind of like part of the point of it. And I really like that way of doing it, because it's not arbitrarily sort of like finding different ways of doing it either without any rewards. You do actually get like these little tick lists sort of thing. I've done it that way, I've done it that way. So you feel like you're really accomplishing something. So I'd imagine Hitman 3 is more of that, and I hope that it is actually episodic again, from my point of view, because I did like that way of doing it. I was just thinking, like, then though, I did actually buy the sort of bundle at the end of the first one, thinking about it. So I'm being hypocritical here. I got it all at once, but I think it does work well. Can't think of much else to say about it, other than looking forward to it.
Awesome. So, do you want to take the next story?
Let's bring it up.
This is very much you.
This is my territory, yeah. So I think I didn't sort of look too much into it, actually, despite being a fan.
Saw the title and then was like, yeah, that'll do.
I know that quite a lot of new Pokemon info was sort of leaked / released yesterday. Apparently, like, pretty much all the Pokemon that exist in these upcoming games is being leaked. But anyway, this Polygon article from Yooka-Laylee says Pokémon Sword and Shield will offer portable Pokemon storage or the quality of life upgrades. Being able to swap out your party wherever you are is a game changer. Pokemon Sword and Shield will let you access your Pokemon box from nearly anywhere, according to a new trailer that dropped this morning. Normally, players have to head to a Pokemon Center to swap out their party, but in Sword and Shield, players will be able to switch out what Pokemon they have on them from almost anywhere. The new trailer also showed off... Oh, there's a new trailer, apparently. The new trailer also showed off other quality of life changes that will be especially helpful for competitive battlers. Using mints, players can change the nature of their Pokemon. After I finish reading this, I'll get to how big that is as a Pokemon nerd. But which has an impact on their stats. Supplements like calcium and protein also seem like they will be more common.
Wait, you got your Pokemon taking protein shakes before they go into the gym?
Oh yeah, to get henged.
Pikachu. Have a couple of steroids in before you go into the gym. That'll help you out.
Yeah, exactly. Attacks gained from eggs will also be able to move between same species Pokemon without explicitly breeding them, which will remove the need to ride your bike in circles to hatch 200 eggs. I realise how random this sounds to anyone who doesn't play Pokemon. Until you get the attack you want in the Pokemon you want. Experience candy will also be making an appearance in Sword and Shield. The candy comes in different sizes and will give blocks of experience to Pokemon for quick leveling. Both the candy system and the portable box system are nice quality of life improvements that were included in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Bringing them over for more games makes sense. And there we have it. So yeah, a lot of sort of nerdy Pokemon info there. Yeah, so, I mean, it ends saying that quite a lot of these things were in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Those games were sort of considered more casual, sort of more like bringing the Pokemon Go experience onto the Switch. Yeah. And I think people were sort of happy enough seeing slightly different mechanics in that because we were like, all right, this isn't a mainstream Pokemon game. But now it's interesting to see that they've it's almost like they were getting people ready. They were sort of like easing people into these new way of doing things with those games, and now they are actually bringing some of them over into into these new proper games, if you like. And obviously, like, not all. One of the things about those Let's Go games is it still had the core Pokemon Go mechanics of just throwing a load of Pokeballs at Pokemon to try and catch them, which was never part of the original Pokemon thing. So that's not going to be in. But things like accessing Pokemon from, in your Pokemon boxes from anywhere. So, do you know much about Pokemon? Are you?
I'm very much what you would put into the casual.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it. I've watched Pokemon and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
And I didn't watch it growing up because I think it was like before, out way before I was. But
okay.
And I played Pokemon Go a lot, and I like that. I played it on like old Game Boys and crap like that. But I was never like fully obsessed with it.
Sure.
So, and because I'm not like mad into like Nintendo these days, I don't have any of the Pokemon games for the last while. So
no worries.
So like stuff like being able to use a mint.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Like,
well, actually, that is one thing that I don't understand either. I think that is kind of new, this mint thing. But then the protein stuff, that was in previous games.
Yeah, I didn't know you were like protein shaking your Pokemon up. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Pokemon box. I don't know whether that means anything to you at all. But the idea is, like, in the original Pokemon games, you could have a team of up to 6 Pokemon like on you, and then obviously you would catch more than 6 Pokemon. But if your team was full, they would go to your Pokemon storage. Basically, it was almost like, it's weird. It's like making them go into a computer, and you would have to go into a Pokemon Center. Which, were not sort of everywhere. They were sort of like just in the main towns or whatever, in order to switch up your team and take certain Pokemon out.
Right. It's like a storage container.
Exactly.
You just chucked them in.
Exactly.
And just dragged them. They were basically just kidnapped.
Yeah, pretty much just kidnapped slaves. But it meant that, like, when you were out in the wild, the 6 Pokemon that you had, that was it. Right. So, it was...
So if you ran into, like, a fire type team and you didn't have any of your water Pokemon,
all you were like grass Pokemon, whatever,
so you were knackered.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It was a bit more of a challenge in that respect, and personally speaking, I'm a little bit concerned about this sort of mechanic, even though it makes things easier. Like the way this article puts it, is it's a quality of life thing, and it kind of is.
Does it not sort of take away the fun of, like, I've got to actually think about the team I'm taking out.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, I can't just take out 6 water types. If someone's good against water type, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
You have to like build your team and make sure you've got a bit of everything while keeping it strong.
Precisely, yeah. So I feel like this kind of takes that out. I understand, like, if you go into a battle, at that point you can't like switch Pokemon. You have to, use 6 Pokemon you've got. But as soon as the thing about Pokemon is you go out and you have to battle loads and loads of trainers in a row. And yeah, technically you could go all the way back to the Pokemon Center to switch out, but really it felt like that was your team of 6, and
you just go through them.
Yeah. Whereas this, it would be like after every battle, your Pokemon could be near dead. What you could actually do is just, if you had another good team of 6 in your Pokemon box, to switch them out. Yeah, and carry on. So yeah, I think it does actually affect the gameplay, personally, and maybe it makes it even less challenging, and Pokemon's been going that way for a long time in a way. It kind of feels like it's been getting easier.
Catering for me, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know. Damn you, Connor. It's your fault.
You filthy casuals.
Yeah. Although this does go counter to another thing I saw where I read an article the other day saying Pokemon in the wild, you could sort of like randomly encounter Pokemon that was way overpowered for what your Pokemon level are. Like in previous Pokemon games, you pretty much it was so linear that, okay, by the time I get to this point where Pokemon level 40, my Pokemon are about that level as well. So I think it was just built in that way.
Scaled to your level kind of
yeah,
thing.
Whereas this one I was reading, this article I was reading suggested you could sort of come across a Pokemon that you just literally cannot sort of beat, so you should just run, sort of thing.
Right. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which I like, and it kind of reminds me of, like, it sounds weird to say because it's a completely different game, but like World of Warcraft, like.
Oh, right. So Graham's got PUBG. We need a ticker for that.
Yeah,
Bibby's got Volta. We need a dinger for that, and now you've got World of Warcraft.
I'm forcing World of Warcraft into Pokemon, and other similar MMOs, I'm sure, where you can stumble into an area where like you just realise, shit, I shouldn't be here yet, because you can just get annihilated at any point.
You see like a load of level 100s from past you, and you're there like level 8, like, ooh.
Yeah, time to move out of this area.
Maybe I should just go back to tutorial.
Yeah, exactly.
Just chill out with the goblins and kill them instead.
Yeah, precisely. So maybe it'll be a bit like that again. Well, like that for Pokemon Sword and Shield. What else does it mention?
They need to make a game like I was saying to Graham the other day, like a Zelda. What was the one you were playing? What's it called? Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Imagine Breath of the Wild, but Pokemon.
Yeah. I would like that.
I would play the shit out of that.
Absolutely, yeah. I think a few of us said in the office, haven't we? Like, Graham said that as well. We'd love to see like a proper 3D Pokemon game, and why do developers like do this? There's the fan base crying out for a certain thing, and they're like, no, we're not going to give you that.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, it's a bit like Half-Life 3 is supposed to be like a classic example, right? Everyone wants Half-Life 3, and like, no, it's been like however many years since Half-Life 2 came out. We're not going to give you that. It's weird. We've
got Mr. Bibby in the chat saying good morning.
Hello, Bibby.
How's it going, Bibby? We made it past 11 a.m. Me and Luke. Can you believe it? Even if we started 20 minutes late.
Exactly.
We're on record time here. It's incredible.
We're doing
waffled.
Good with news.
Yeah, it's actually been. We thought maybe it was going to be a slow news day, but I feel like we got quite a bit out of it today.
Exactly. We're offering entertaining news. We hope other people agree. We hope our listeners agree. But we're just talking
Everyone leaves the chat.
Yeah. But we're talking about Pokemon Sword and Shield, Bibby. Are you going to be picking up Sword and Shield? I want to know. Tell us. But I don't know what that sort of mint thing is. Oh, right. Actually, I said I was going to come back to something, didn't I? That said it was a game changer. So Pokemon, you can go quite deep with Pokemon in a way in terms of the stats and stuff, and each Pokemon has a nature, and it's when you catch Pokemon, it's just like a random one of 20 or so natures, and it might be just like happy, placid, sad. I don't think that's a sad one. I think that'd be really depressing. Yeah, depressed, politically depressed,
socially anxious.
Yeah,
like all these like horrible things.
Yeah, but actually, now you can sort of change those manually, by the sounds of it, which sounds unrealistic. Yeah. Want of a better word.
Sad. Cookie.
Exactly.
Happy.
Yeah. But
oh no, wait, that's me.
Yeah. Exactly. What they did though was all these natures would have like set things where it would be like, say you had a happy Pikachu,
Right.
it would give him plus 10% in special attack, but minus 10% in speed, let's say.
Right. Okay.
And that would be like a set thing where it would kind of help make Pokemon that were identical levels still a bit different if they had different natures and stuff. And you would be spending a long time trying to get Pokemon of the right nature because you didn't want a Pikachu that had good attack. That'd be pointless, but you did want a Pokemon that had Pikachu that had good special
Right,
attack
yeah,
because
yeah.
he was a special attack focused Pokemon. And so there'd be like these logical things that you would do. But now you can just sort of DNA change
DNA modification.
your Pokemon.
Oh, what a world we live
like,
in. What a time to be alive.
Exactly.
Bibby said he will, but not on release. He doesn't think.
Okay. I still need to pre-order mine.
That's classic Bibby. That let other people test it out for him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't that right, Bibby?
Well,
disgusting. You make me sick.
I'll probably get it on release day myself, but admittedly I've not pre-ordered it yet, and maybe I should get a move on doing that.
Bibby said dead right. Well, hashtag not a mug. Well, I still haven't ordered my Google Stadia yet.
Oh right, are you going to do that? Are you going to be a day one Google Stadia guy?
Well, I think even if I ordered it now, I don't think I'd get it day one because did you see the things where they like delayed?
Right, yeah.
But I think I'm going to order it. Yeah, maybe.
Cool. Interesting. No, I'm glad. Yeah, like I am perhaps going to be for Bibby, you are going to be for us in the sense of being the guinea pig.
Yeah.
I'd like to very much know how it is.
Well, you'll see me if I come in the day after crying my eyes out. Minus 150 quid or whatever.
Well, we've talked in the show before about how a lot of people aren't ready for Google Stadia yet because of internet, but I know how awesome your internet is, so...
Yeah, I get usually get about 375 downloads.
That's just so crazy.
I think I should just about be able to handle it.
You'd be alright. I think I've said all I need to say about Pokemon though. So yeah, what's our next story?
Next story. This is one you picked out, and I quote: "I don't know why I picked it. I thought it would be funny." So let's go into the story that Luke thought would be funny.
I don't know if funny is the right word, but fun.
Interesting.
Maybe. Interesting.
Yes. So Cyberpunk 2077 has twice as much Keanu Reeves at actors' request. You don't say no to Keanu Reeves. I mean, fair enough. So this is by Steve Watts on GameSpot. So Cyberpunk 2077 got a big reception at E3 thanks to the surprise reveal of the character Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves. The character is actually showing up more than CD Projekt Red had originally planned, though thanks to Reeves himself. So WCCF Tech reports that at the Luca Comics and Games Festival, voice actor Luca Ward said that his recording time had been doubled thanks to Reeves pushing for Silverhand to have more time. So Keanu Reeves just got this random voice actor a load more work. What an absolute legend.
Yeah.
So the report, translated from an Italian interview, suggests that Reeves was enjoying playing the part and asked to have a bigger presence in the game. Well, of course he did.
Yeah.
He's getting paid for it.
Exactly.
We had previously heard a similar account from senior level designer Miles Tost about Reeves' affinity for the character and world. Tost said because Reeves is known for cyberpunk-like stories such as The Matrix and... What, how do you pronounce that?
Johnny Mnemonic, I think is how you pronounce it. I was struggling with it.
Yeah, well, Luke said it. It was a very natural match made in heaven. He also said Reeves seemed very passionate about the project and the role he's playing. Reeves' surprise stage appearance at Microsoft's E3 conference made him one of the unexpected stars of E3. Cyberpunk 2077 is coming April 16th, 2020. For more details, check out our pre-order guide. Not our pre-order guide, their pre-order guide. So, yeah, I mean, this seems like a pretty... Oh, well, first of all, we've got Griff96 in the chat. Hi, guys, nice to meet you. I first watched the stream yesterday and loved it. Josie was great.
Hey.
Well, I mean, thanks so much for coming back. We are not quite Josie's level of entertainment, I imagine, playing through Dishonored.
I can only apologise in advance for us. But,
usually this show is hosted by Bibby and Graham, who are amazing at hosting shows. Me and Luke are just stepping in while it's a really busy time here at the studio.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's great to have you. Hope you're enjoying the show. We've been talking through a lot of news. It's live every day at 10 a.m. So
or thereabouts.
Yeah,
10 a.m.-ish.
10 a.m. unless it's us starting, then it's 20 past 10. Bibi said you two are smashing it. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We were talking at the start. You'll have to listen to it back on podcast about how it's basically a hostile takeover until you two come back in tomorrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, Griff. If you're not here live at 10 a.m. We're on podcast services like the Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play. We're on YouTube, and you can check the VODs out every single morning, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Gaming news. So
if you want to be up to date with all your latest gaming news, I can't think of a better place to go on Twitch because I literally don't know of any other places.
Yeah, not because we're the best, just because we're stupid and don't know any other places.
We are by default the best.
Yeah. So what do you think about Keanu Reeves being more involved in the Cyberpunk project?
Yeah, it's cool. I wonder whether, in some ways, like CD, what are they called? CD Projekt?
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah. I wonder whether like maybe they kind of created this whole story and they're like, hey, we'll have Keanu Reeves play this character. That would be cool. But they sort of wrote that character out as being sort of like not super main. You know, and then like Keanu's
cameo.
Yeah, Keanu's coming in saying, hey, like, you know, this character now used to be twice as big, and they're probably like, oh, we might as well have just made him the main protagonist by this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way that it's sort of like got. The reception that he got after E3 as well, it would have been stupid if he was just a cameo. People, that would have annoyed people more.
Yeah, probably.
But, I mean, Keanu Reeves is winning. He's like, look, everyone is buying the game because of me.
Yeah.
Now give me some more money,
Yeah,
please.
exactly. He's realised his power in this situation. But don't get me wrong, like, I don't mean to sound too cynical. I think he's done a good job at being passionate about it, whether it's an act or whether he's genuine. I'm sure he is genuine about it, and he seems like a really cool guy. You know, I wonder how much more he's being paid for it, or whether like there's, you know, he's doing it out of the goodness of his own heart. I doubt it. Like, compared to his original contract.
So Bibi just said, I don't know what the story is going to be like, but it can't hurt having him portray a character for longer in the game. Means the story might have more depth.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, if they get in like top caliber actors like Keanu Reeves in for longer, and he's being given more parts and more voice lines and everything, then it really can't hurt.
Yeah,
it just means the game's going to have more story, more detail, more depth, like you say.
It's good for gaming in general as well. If people who are still a bit dumb to gaming in the sense of where they think of it as not being able to deliver the same story depth as films and TV and stuff like that, and then they see like kind of having this big part, you know, they can't help but jump to the conclusion, all right, I have to treat games seriously now. You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, I know there's not like a huge amount we can talk about on this, but I just thought it'd be fun to sort of
what about
highlight it.
Cyberpunk in general? Are you looking forward
to?
It?
Yes, I think I am actually. I think it looks really interesting. I think it's obviously very Blade Runner-y sort of in style, which is cool. And I can't think of too many other games that quite fit that niche. I'm sure there are some that I'm just forgetting.
So like I've seen like the artwork and I've seen like the trailer and stuff. I can't remember if it's even been but what is the story? Is there a story already like sort of defined? Like
I'm not sure. I've only seen. I remember the trailer, and I remember it's like some other character goes to this sort of like house, or
a person goes to a place.
Is it in?
Buy it now for £59.99.
Exactly. I want to say it looks like it's in sort of either Tokyo or one of these sort of city, like you know, proper sort of like high-tech sort of condensed cities, if that's the right word. And he's doing this like deal with these sort of mafia-looking guys, and then they end up attacking him.
Oh no!
And he runs out, and I'm sorry, I'm not really doing it justice.
Wow. Everyone just cancelled their pre-order. Nice one, Luke. CD Projekt Red's crying.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves just got sacked.
I'm not good at telling stories. We'll leave that to them.
Yeah. From what I've seen of it, it looks really good. It looks crisp. It looks visually just so pleasing. Visually pleasing.
Definitely.
But and I think they could probably do pretty much anything in terms of the actual storyline. It'll probably be fun to play just because of how much like depth that it seems to have from the outside.
Yeah, it is interesting as well that thinking about it, I don't particularly know much about the gameplay. mechanics. It's a bit like, maybe not quite to the same extent, but it's a bit like Death Stranding in the sense of we've seen a lot of narrative and world building and stuff like that from these trailers. Yeah. Not a huge amount.
You don't really know what you're going to be doing. Once you get into the game, you bought it, you press start game, you're like, do I have a gun?
Yeah,
do I shoot people? Am I allowed to shoot people?
Yeah.
Am I a citizen? Am I the bad guy? Am I the good? Like, you just don't know. Like, no, but I imagine Cyberpunk will probably give us a bit more info than Death Stranding has.
I think so, yeah, and I think there'll be more of a traditional game, if you know what I mean, than Death Stranding.
Yeah.
What I understand of Death Stranding, it is almost like Postman Simulator, and it is very much about, in a way, what the trailers showed off are probably quite true to how the game is, because it is just very story heavy, very sort of like about absorbing the world, not that much about the gameplay. In a way, the gameplay is almost secondary, and Kojima is like a film buff, so it's not surprising. But with this, I'm sure it will be a lot more of a game.
Nice mix, yeah, for sure. So should we go on to our final story?
Sure, yeah.
This is one that we only happened last night. There's not a crazy amount we can talk about on it, but we thought we'd share it with you because that's what we do. We share the news.
We do.
So I just went to switch to the thing and switch back to the front camera. So this is a article on Fnatic by Fnatic. Well, it's actually by Brendan. But Tex, the well-known FIFA player, superstar, has joined Fnatic. Mm. So Fnatic being one of the biggest esports organisations in the world, and Tex being arguably the best / most well-known FIFA player in the world, this is a huge deal. Yeah. So the article, I'll read the article. The boy wonder has arrived. Donovan Tex Hunt has joined Fnatic. We are esports and this is Tex. Perhaps the best, most consistent FIFA player in the world, the 18-year-old signs for the Black and Orange on a deal until the end of FIFA 2021. Having grown up in the West Country of England, Tex joins us in London and as already one of the best achieving British esports stars of all time. Tex shot onto the scene at the start of 2018 when he won the first ever FUT Champions Cup in Barcelona. Last season, he went on to win 3 out of 6 FUT Champions Cups across the season, fast becoming the most talked about player in FIFA. So this is what Tex had to say about joining. I'm truly excited to be part of Fnatic. Joining the biggest British esports team with such incredible facilities in London will provide exactly what I need to win my first World Championship. I'll be representing Fnatic's colours already this weekend in Bucharest. Follow our journey. So this is Tex's agent speaking now. Tex is an icon within the FIFA esports community. Fnatic is the most iconic British esports organisation. Bringing these two pieces together felt totally natural. This is the largest deal FIFA esports has ever witnessed and reflects Tex's outstanding prospect. The journey has just started and we are here to lift trophies, to build a legacy and to inspire young esports talents to follow in the footsteps of Tex. Christ, there's a lot of quotes in this.
There is actually.
But yeah, I mean, so this is interesting. So until now, so the signing of Tex marks Fnatic's first entry into FIFA wearing the black and orange. Till now, we've competed under the banner of Roma Fnatic, alongside our strategic partner Serie A's AS Roma. Although Damien Gisniak and Nathan Zelonius Horton will still play under the management of Fnatic staff and now compete under the banner of Roma Esports. We hope both Fnatic and Roma Esports will be fierce competitors throughout the season. So, yeah, so I'll switch back to us. So, yeah. That's the wrong one again. So yeah, this is like interesting to me. So BB said straight away, massive move. Like I agree. This is like it's a huge signing. Like Fnatic, arguably like one of the top, like in that top bracket of like unbelievable tier esports teams. Like you got Fnatic, and then like probably the biggest star in FIFA, Tex, and like to have them together is like pretty big.
Yeah, it's only made them bigger. Hasn't it?
Yeah, and then the whole like Roma thing's interesting. So Fnatic used to be like Fnatic / Roma, and it'd be like Fnatic Roma or Roma Fnatic. But now this is like Fnatic going, no, this is for us.
Interesting. Yeah.
Tex is like that big. We want it to be Fnatic Tex. We don't even want it to be Roma Tex. So I think it's quite interesting. Obviously, I think like FIFA esports has got a long way to go in general, but Tex and Fnatic getting into it can only help. Like,
yeah, hugely. Do you think? I don't know too much about this. Is it valid to say it's surprising it didn't even happen sooner, given his record already, or do you think it's?
I don't know. He was at some big, like he was playing for at the F2, which is the two, the freestylers.
Right. Yeah.
He was playing for them, like their brand.
Okay.
He did. I don't know. Like he left them a while ago, and I'm sort of surprised Fnatic have gone into it, just because the amount of money they'll have to be paying him.
Right. Yeah.
Is probably a lot of money. They probably won't see a return on it in terms of like straight revenue back.
Sure.
But in terms of like an overall like being like to keep their sort of like level at the top and be like, yeah, we're top at this, top at this, top of this. It's probably a good move in general.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I guess like these things are always a little bit of a gamble, aren't they? You spend a lot of money and just hope you get your return back.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a bit like, players in football itself, I suppose.
Yeah, you pay like Ronaldo can be the best in the world or Messi can be the best in the world at their club, but if you paid hundreds of millions for them and they don't quite do it at your club, then you just lost hundreds of millions.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's a risky one, but it makes esports very interesting.
Yeah, I definitely want to keep an eye on.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything else you feel like we need to add here today?
Well, we've got through all our stories. I don't think so, other than to say, obviously, I believe we will be able to confirm in the chat that we'll be back with Graham and Bibby tomorrow for tomorrow's episode of The Scoop. And yeah, we hope that we've done all right. Yeah, we hope that we've entertained.
I mean, the good thing is we made it an hour. I'm just looking down at the clock here. Yeah. We've lasted an hour. The podcast is meant to be about an hour. So
in a way, we've nailed it.
We're really proud of ourselves here, as you can tell. Like, we don't care. We could have been talking about anything but the news for an hour. We would be happy as Larry if we'd made it an hour. So job done as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
No. So obviously everyone watching now has been watching on twitch.tv/ice-cream-uploads. We're here every single day, 10 a.m. UK time. Like I say, the podcast lasts for about an hour and a half.
Yep.
But if you can't get there in the morning, don't panic.
Absolutely, please don't.
Because don't panic. Why? Why shouldn't I panic, you ask me? Because we're on podcast services, silly. You can catch us on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, SoundCloud. If you don't like that, you want to see us, of course you want to see us.
Of course you do.
Check our Twitch VODs. Check our YouTube channel, /ice-cream-uploads.
100%.
Easy as you like.
Absolutely. And, make sure you're following us on our social channels as well, because if we ever are maybe a little bit delayed, or we have a change of personnel, or you want to get a bit of info about the stories that we've got coming up, because we always tease them,
or if you want to suggest stories.
Exactly, yeah.
Send them in.
Yeah, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we are /ice-cream-uploads on all of those.
And you can buy Ice Cream Uploads merch if you want to be a super fan. Of course you do.
Obviously.
Merch links in the chat there for everyone watching on twitch.tv/ice-cream-uploads. And if not, it'll be in the description of wherever you're watching it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So, yes, I've been Connor.
I have been Luke.
And until next time, stay frosty.